Dear viewers, we are back and we have been joined by our guest, Mr. Hamza Taqi, the Master Performance Consultant. Good evening, Hamza. Welcome to Hala Kuwait.
Good evening to you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here again. Of course, we always learn a lot about ourselves and even sometimes what we should be and shouldn't be doing in life in general. So today we're going to be talking about emotional intelligence. So what is emotional intelligence?
Emotional intelligence is a very important skill, and I say skill because everybody can learn it. It's not like something that's innate in all of us, although some people have more advantage in emotional intelligence. But emotional intelligence is it has two words, emotional and intelligence. So how you manage your emotions and hopefully influence others' emotions as well. And it has four components according to Daniel Goldman. First is self-awareness. So I have to know what triggers me, or I have to know the emotions that makes me, for example, happy or make me sad or angry.
Yes.
So I'm aware of that. So self-awareness comes as a very important component. And then how do I react, or how do I manage that feeling? So managing self-management, self-awareness, self-management, and then having empathy, especially for others, and reading their body language and their emotions, even if they say things, maybe, they say I hate you, but they mean I love you.
Right.
But you have to, you have to read that.
Yes.
And you have to have that intelligence to read what they mean from their emotion, from their hand gesture and their body language. And then finally is to manage the people emotion, or the community emotions around you, so you know what triggers others and you try to avoid it, or you try to minimize it, so you have a good relationship. And from that relationship, hopefully you contribute and you have a better performance if you are a team, for example.
Hopefully. I think that's a very important skill to have, because you can avoid a lot of issues, especially at the workplace, to be honest.
Absolutely.
Can we say what you mentioned are the types of emotional intelligence?
Not really. It doesn't have any type. It's only the emotions and how you manage your emotion, and it has those four components. The idea is that we always use that anecdote that we always feel that what triggers us is external stimuli.
Yes.
So, for example, if somebody, it happens to me. I am a victim of that. If somebody cuts me on the road, immediately I get triggered.
Right.
And I get frustrated. Of course, now when I'm aware of that this triggers me, and I analyze it, and I say, why does it trigger me? The guy or the lady needed to be there, and there was a spot, and they took it.
Yes.
Why am I, So you're learning how to pause before you react.
Amazing.
And then you will have a better response to the situation, and you pull yourself back before you react. And that's really very important for leaders, for mothers, for teachers, for fathers, for managers, to have that so they can empathize with their people and their children or their sibling, and they can communicate in a much better way.
Definitely. And you mentioned pausing, which I think is one of the most important factors when we're emotional, angry, and right before we react, actually, because it can save us a lot of drama and a lot of issues. So
we always regret, Rita, right?
Definitely.
What happens after we are, outraged or something like that?
Exactly. Sometimes we sit there recalling the event and thinking, what if I didn't say this? What if I didn't do that? And sometimes you cannot gain the broken relationships after the outburst, which is very unfortunate.
Yes.
So how can you tell if someone actually has emotional intelligence or even lacks emotional intelligence?
Well, if we talk about the people who have, if they lack that thing, then they are. So, for example, we talked about anger management. People who, immediately, get frustrated and get emotionally and angry, and their face changes and their voice changes. Of course, these people don't have emotional. I'm sorry, they don't have emotional intelligence, because if you know what makes you angry, you can manage that emotion, and you use that emotion for your benefit rather than weakness. And that takes a lot of maturity and knowing yourself and really reflecting and so on. The second thing is that they would be more of, they don't take personal responsibilities on things. They can blame. They can blame the government, the weather, they're always putting somebody at the blame. So these people, they don't have emotional intelligence. People with emotional intelligence, on the other hand, Rita, they take personal responsibility on everything. They say, yeah, I can change it, I can do that. And they are confident. People who are emotionally intelligent, they're confident, and they really, they show up as themselves. They are not acting, or you see them everywhere the same as they are. They're the genuine or authentic they are.
Exactly.
Because they don't need to hide things.
Yes.
When you're not emotionally intelligent, then again, the remote control, is it with me? Am I controlling my emotion, or other people are, or the guy who's on the road controlling my emotion?
That's a very good one.
Yes, I should control my emotion, right? It's my emotion.
Course.
I have to be the master of my emotion. And when I become the master of my emotion and align my emotion with my mind and my passion and everything, I become successful for sure.
Definitely. It opens a lot of doors, because as you said, it's a remote, but a very, very important one. So I think that's something everyone would like to learn, especially for the people that lack it and have been suffering due to the results of having a lack of emotional intelligence. How can we actually learn that?
This is basically the idea is to read about it and to know more about it. And there are a lot of information in the web about emotional intelligence. So basically, realizing yourself, going inward, journaling your emotions. What made you trigger? Why did I act that? Why did I say to my spouse that? Or why did I say to my teacher that? That didn't come up very well. And try to have self-reflection and identify the areas that you are bad at. Most of the time, men are more at the level of self-awareness and self-regulating. Like they can regulate their emotions. Women, on the other hand, they are better in the empathy and of the social relationship, or how to deal with others and how to deal with people. So somehow God, separated these two components for both. But anyone can learn all the four and become really emotionally intelligent, because now emotional intelligence it's seen as more important than the IQ, the intelligence itself, which is, they all still now people use IQ. But most organizations, they use IQ and EQ, or emotional equation, or the emotional intelligence. And the IQ, it tests you or assess your capability on problem solvings and stuff, but it doesn't assess your emotions.
Definitely.
With these problem solving, and usually, and that's what emotional comes with the emotion, because emotions with the thoughts become really strong.
Definitely.
And with visualization, you can create as well.
For sure. And as you said, if those two things come together, it becomes really strong. But I also think that the opposite is very true. If we have the IQ without the EQ, it could be hard to solve a problem, and vice versa.
Yeah, because it comes even damaging. There is one teacher says, if you want your intellect to be sharp, not everybody should have a sharp intellect, because they might misuse it, like a knife.
That's
you
true.
can misuse it.
Definitely. I
Yes.
think that's very, very true, to be honest. So, what if you already have emotional intelligence? How
Yeah.
can you actually improve it? I think as humans, we're constantly trying to improve ourselves and our skills.
Yes, it's a continuous improvement. It's always, being, the main thing is, practicing, like, for example, conscious breathing. So you live the moment, so you control your mind. Because our mind goes haywire. It's like monkeys jumping and looking for problems, looking for something scary. Is always, bombarding us with certain thoughts.
Yes.
And we need to, we need to be present, or we need to be aware that the mind, this is its job. Its job is to look for problems and to protect us. But we don't mind the mind. For example, we don't engage with everything the mind gives us, because it gives us a lot of stuff, and most of the stuff is repeated or negative based on something that happens long time ago. But then now things changed. Maybe that doesn't work anymore. I don't need it. So, having that mindfulness and practicing really conscious breathing, and there are many breathing, exercises out there, and just fill your, body with the oxygen. It's needed by your brain. It calms yourself. It slows your thoughts, and then you can, when you are relaxed, you can think better. You can solve problems. You can take the right decision rather than, being angry or worried or stressed or, all these things that comes without having the emotional intelligence.
Very true. We really need to try our best to not let the negative thoughts control us,
The problem is the negative stuff, it comes very easily, and I think
it's there already. It doesn't even need to come.
Exactly,
It's there.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the idea is to be aware and to protect yourself from these negative activity, and say, okay, thank you for the thought. I don't need you, or the idea. I don't need you anymore. Just relax.
Definitely,
chill.
you can hide again.
Yes.
You can go back into hiding.
Yes. But the emotion is more important, because the emotion really affect our heart and affect our brain. Because when we are in good mood, our brain is injecting nice hormones and nice chemicals, and we feel good, and we can create, and we can innovate, and we can solve problems, and we can be the happy human that we want to be.
Honestly, everything changes when we are happy or positive.
Absolutely.
That's when most of us can be in control.
Yes.
Finally,
yes,
Yes. So how can we actually teach our children or even teenagers how to have emotional intelligence?
This is very important for children, and I know in the West they are, part of the curriculum for the children.
Nice.
They give them, the basic elements. So, when the children, they have, problems, sometimes they fight with each other and stuff. So they teach them these things, and the rate of the problem went down for 20% or something like that.
Amazing.
And the rate of the love of the school increased 11%, something like this. So all the absenteeism went down. So it's really helpful for children. And it's basically, for us, we need to teach our children. We need to show them, and we need to apply it ourselves to ourselves. Like, if I'm the mother and my child broke the glass, I don't need to go out of, hysterical and scream, or I'm a father and, start saying, how much is this?
Exactly.
We paid this much for it. But then it's broke. Is that going to bring the glass back?
Definitely
It's
not.
went. It's what it is. Just, and take care of your child.
More
Maybe
important than the class.
Yes, exactly. The glass will go, and it will be, you get another glass. But your child maybe develop a trauma out of this that will affect him the rest of his life or her life. So, being sensitive for our emotion and managing our emotion, immediately our children or our the kids around us, even if we have siblings who are younger, they learn from us. But when we are like angry in the car and the child with us, they learn from us.
They're a sponge. They really do take
exactly.
all these emotions, our anger, and of course the way we act in certain situations into account. So Hamza, thank you so much for all the advice on emotional intelligence. Hopefully we'll actually take it and start learning from it.
I hope so. Main thing is to apply it.
That's the most important part. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, my friend.
Dear viewers, we had with us Hamza Taqi, the Master Performance Consultant. And up next, we have a report and we'll be right back.